Well, this will be an exciting game number 2. We got to start off with the picks and bans. Go ahead and bring them up here for us, and let's see what Strictly Business and Astral Authority are going to be looking to do in game 2. You think they're going to let Xbalanque through?
I don't think that Xbalanque alone was the problem, although I will say Xbalanque by far still considered one of the best team fighting ultimates in the game.
Yeah.
It is just so impossible trying to break through all of that darkness.
Tom's a big fan of blinds in the game, and Xbalanque has one of the best ones, so I'm sure he was happy watching this set. But I think these are the same bans we saw last time. Terra, Scotty, Odin. Don't want to have to worry about those guys in your game, and Strictly Business get to take Ganesha.
I still like this pick for Matt Koiz. I think that Matt Koiz is doing a really good job of placing those Dharmic pillars in the right spot. It's like we mentioned, he just kind of fell victim to that amp-up boost that Astral Authority managed to receive once they started getting a little bit more ahead.
This does, again, though, leave Raijin and Artio open. Astral Authority are happy to take those up one more time, but in return, Strictly Business pick up Cernunnos.
And the Sobek, actually, leading me to believe that that's going to be a Sobek solo, actually. So Ryan Jarman, he's certainly somebody that can pick up those Guardians and make them work in the solo lane.
Astral Authority picking up the Batz for the jungle, and they're banning out a Wheelix. This is smart. I was going to say a Wheelix is something that could easily be a jungle pick now for Strictly Business since it synergizes so well with that Sobek.
Still loving the decision-making by Strictly Business as well to ban away that Ares, just taking away any and all possibilities for Brochacho to keep going on with those crippling effects, especially since they already have 3 gods that need those dashes to stay alive.
And you've already picked up your hunter with Cernunnos. Why not ban out Hui and limit some of those options for Astral Authority, who can just take Xbalanque again? So there you go.
Happy to run it back. If it's not broke, don't fix it. They've got the exact same draft that they had last game. Let's see if Strictly Business has decided on a new strategy to counteract it.
They take the Bastet here in the Vulcan. These are two gods that I think kind of synergize a little bit together, or at least show they've got a similar idea. They can both tank objectives with sort of like their pets or their extra items that they get to put in the map. Not too bad at split pushing either, so I like these picks from Strictly Business.
I'd almost think it was the same game if I was just looking at Astral Authority, but believe it or not, guys, if you're watching this at home, this is the same exact draft from Astral Authority, but Strictly Business trying to actually find a way to counteract this.
Does Brochacho take Chaac again, or do they sort of flex that?
I think they could flex it this time around.
Yeah, maybe we might see El Brochacho actually take the Artio this time, and then go ahead and send Chaac over to the solo lane. But either way, Game 2, Strictly Business versus Astral Authority. Astral Authority come out looking good in Game 1, Strictly Business looking to split, or else Astral Authority will stay undefeated through the split here so far.
No, it's going to be El Brochacho again on that Chaac support. Normally, you'd refer to this as the salty run back, but considering Astral Authority had the victory, I guess this is just trying to have a two-peat.
That's right. They're trying to see if Strictly Business can come up with an answer to this composition. Transonics, they tried to hold him down early game last time, so I wouldn't be surprised if Strictly Business try and do it again, especially with Kaeydan on the Bastet.
I actually like Kaeydan on this Bastet a little bit more because when he was up in the air on the Thor, he had a really hard time chasing after Transonics because Transonics could just provide himself with so much spacing on that ultimate. Having those cats, though, those little kitties are going to keep chasing after Trans.
Those kitties are going to be a bit of a problem, I think, for Transonics in this game. So that's something Kaeydan could be looking to do. Also looking to try and burn some of these early objectives with help from oBoronic and Matt Koiz. So Astral Authority's got to keep their ear to the ground on that one, just to make sure nothing's getting taken away from them in this early game. That's something that they can kind of specialize in.
And Kaeydan and oBoronic already looking to start up on their own buffs. Bastet, she doesn't necessarily have the greatest early game clear, but I think it's strong enough alongside of the Vulcan here early on to just ensure that they're able to secure their own buffs, and this is why Wolves and Chaotic Purpose trying to look for that invade again, but having the Hog just means that Ryan Jarman won't have to worry about losing his blue buff.
And now it's a smart start for them. Ryan Jarman's Hog means he can do the blue buff on his own, and that frees up Kaeydan and oBoronic to start at the speed, make sure it doesn't get invaded, and they'll go back and meet that wave in middle. Sure, that means that now Coviiii can move around a little bit more freely along with Chaotic Purpose, but they keep their jungle protected at least.
Check out Transonics, though. He's still hanging on his red buff, just now finishing that one off. Actually going to get invaded by Matt Koiz and Fatal Ghost on his purple. And he's not even going to get a chance to try and look for the minis there, just having to wait for the wave instead.
This is not too dissimilar from where he was last game, though. Kind of behind early, getting pushed up against his tower. Clearly, Transonics could play the Xbalanque from behind, so maybe he's comfortable here.
this is going to be a little bit more difficult, though, because that second ability from the Kern is really unavoidable as a Xbalanque, and if you expend your dash, that just means that Fatal Ghost could have an opportunity to just put the aggression on.
Now, with Chaotic Purpose hanging out in the solo lane, Ryan Jarman's had to do the 1v2, and he's ended up taking a lot of damage for it early. Brochacho and Coviiii using their pressure in middle lane to come down and take those back Harpies, so a little bit more farm. They're stripping away from Kaeydan and oBoronic, using their pressure to their advantage.
Kaeydan trying to get some poke out onto Brochacho, but not a big deal to Brochacho. He has that sustain, that self-heal underneath his reign, so he'll be okay with that one. And oBoronic also just trying to be as efficient as possible with clearing out the mid lane.
And I like this. They're making sure that Transonics can get this solo farm over here in the duo lane. Brochacho trusts him to be able to take that farm. They want him to be able to get farmed, start getting ahead, and get a little bit more gold than Fatal Ghost is going to be getting, because he's splitting it over there with Koiz.
Kaeydan kind of just already out of pot, so he's going to need to be careful about receiving poke. Doesn't want to be left looking at back when the buffs are respawning, considering that he doesn't want any invades happening, so he'll most likely be returning to base pretty soon.
Kaeydan looking to return to base. They're just going to get those back Harpies there first. Chaotic Purpose, not quite level 4, but he is hanging around on the solo lane side of the map. Might not get too much out of it, though, as Ryan Jarman is already pretty pushed underneath his tower, so likely won't be coming back. He actually takes the back. This will give Astral Authority a chance to push some minion waves up under the tower and try and strip away some gold, as Xbalanque had to drop the ult. Look how low he was to Fatal Ghost and Koiz.
Fatal Ghost, though, knows that Transonics has to keep running. He can't afford to dive him just yet, but Transonics, no, actually turned back around. Fatal Ghost probably expecting him to have just backed off immediately. He could have maybe looked to toss out that second ability, catch Transonics in that huge AoE to clean him up, but instead, Trans, one more wave pays off.
Now Brochacho's here to try and help create some space for him, or at least just catch this minion wave so it doesn't go under tower while Transonics is back getting healed up at base. So being a little bit more efficient with that farm, and Brochacho trying to help make things easier for him as Koiz and Fatal Ghost just go back and get their own red buff here at this point.
And Kaeydan right on time for that speed buff timer. Again, no one from Strictly Business really trying to willingly give up their buffs. Ryan Jarman as well, making that rotation over to his blue. I also like that he opted for this Hog Relic again. Not because he's playing the Sobek, but just because he recognized that Chaotic Purpose and Wolves are probably going to try to just run it back. I mean, they're running back the same exact team composition. Why wouldn't they try to find the invades as well?
Ryan Jarman does have it to help secure those buffs. We didn't see it come up particularly huge for any of the other neutral objectives like Gold Fury or Fire Giant or Portal Demon or anything like that, but it certainly is still an option for him. It'll be a little bit more difficult, though, up against that Coviiii ultimate, and they already have oBoronic to help secure it, too, so they might not need to rely on it too much. But once again, Chaotic Purpose looping back around on Jarman.
For Ryan Jarman, it's all about the early upgrade on that Hog to get that 1 second stun into Boronic's ultimate. That's what I'm waiting for. That's the combo I want to see happen.
See, Ryan Jarman just invest a little bit more gold into it to make it happen. Transonics once again under pressure on this dual lane side, but he's got Brochacho and Coviiii not too far away, so they can come over and help him out if he ends up needing it. Instead, they're just going to take those oracles and get a little bit of vision that can't be contested.
That's the primary reason why you didn't see Fatal Ghost try and follow up onto Transonics, probably recognizing that the enemy team was already there due to those wards that they have placed. Some very aggressive wards already from Strictly Business in the duo lane.
And that's because they're going to be playing aggressive, so it's right for Koiz and Fatal Ghost to try and get that information. They could have, like you said, walked into death over there, so instead, Fatal Ghost back it up, and he's looking to try and just hang back. Now, we said that Xbalanque is a real late-game hunter. How does Cernunnos compare with Xbalanque when they start getting to the late game?
Oh, it can go either way, but if Transonics is able to get those stacks online again, it's going to be difficult for Fatal Ghost. And rotation coming through from Astral Authority. Koiz knows that he's in danger. He's already trying to get away. He's got that slow for the Dharmic Pillars. He's already popped his sprint. Brochacho, though, keeping up, no problem.
The Fear No Evil comes out, but forced back our Chaotic Purpose and Brochacho. The Dharmic Pillars are actually enough to bring Brochacho very low. Fatal Ghost getting first blood, and Kaeydan is here to help clean up Transonics as well. 2 quick kills go the way of Strictly Business, and then the catch with the turnaround onto Chaotic Purpose. The rotation comes over from Oboronic, and they clean up 3 quick kills. Strictly Business looking good in game 2.
You just remember how good Boronic's Vulcan is every single time he whips it out. Those Vulcan ultimates so on point. That was the first one we've seen from him in this game, and it already connected and gave him the kill for it. So that's 3 with 0 response from Astral Authority so far.
And it seemed like to me there might have been a bit of a miscommunication because they got a good lockdown earlier on in that engagement where Astral Authority, but Transonics kind of backs up right away because they saw the rest of the rotation coming. They might have at least been able to get 1 kill out of it, but instead they just kind of give up those 3 kills to Strictly Business, who are now sitting pretty.
And it happens. I think a lot of that was also credited to Kaeydan not dying to Chaotic Purpose and actually baiting him in with that jump. Chaotic really wanted a response after Strictly Business was able to find the first blood, and Kitties were just a little bit too much. They swarmed him.
That turnaround from Kaeydan was nuts, and then the good follow-up from Oboronic. And Transonics, I believe, had rotated in there as well, or rather, Fatal Ghost had rotated in there as well to try and help out, so they might not have even needed the Vulcan ultimate, but the extra cleanup was, I'm sure, appreciated. Now Strictly Business sitting up about 1,500 or so gold, 3-0 in the kills, and the experience lead's about 2,000 as well. So they've got a good lead to start building on here now.
It was just the slow off of those cats, really making it impossible for Chaotic Purpose to work his way to finding those enhance to clean up Kaeydan. But now, Strictly Business being a little bit more in favor of things. Haven't amassed too large of a lead just yet, though.
Kaeydan, as well as Koiz, made a rotation just to continue having their vision on this dual lane side of the map. So they're not looking to try and make an aggressive move. They do want to try and get these oracles, though. Even Fatal Ghost rotating over to try and soak up some of that experience as well. He makes it in time. He cleans it up. Chaotic Purpose and Coviiii now get to walk away with those sad dog ears knowing that those oracles are already taken.
That farm used to belong to Astral Authority. They've actually had really strong Oracle control this entire game so far, although it is pretty early on. We're only approaching about 8.5 minutes.
And is that it? Wow.
That's the crazy part, is that these games have just been so very fast-paced that it feels a lot different than what it looks.
These games have been close. We talked about that first engagement. I think that could have easily been a fight that went the other way and maybe been 2 kills for Astral Authority. That's just how close these two teams are and how well that they're playing. The margins are really just that thin. But this is what I was talking about. Kaeydan and Koiz already got that Gold Fury started up. Oboronic is here along with that turret. And I don't think anyone from Astral Authority recognizes it. There's not even a rotation here from Transonics. Oh. Gold Fury stolen away.
That was dirty by Strictly Business. Oboronic with the perfect turret placement there. That one was planned out from the get-go.
Yep.
He left that there on purpose. They had pure vision, knowing that nobody was going to be traversing over that upper ward on the left mid heart piece for Astral, so no one to give away that was happening.
And now they really are starting to expand that gold lead out a little bit. It's not to any point where it's not manageable for Strictly Business or for Astral Authority, but this is how you start building on it. I mean, it starts happening a little bit slowly at first, then it starts getting out of hand. Chaotic Purpose, though, trying to rotate in. He hasn't been able to get much to happen over here with Ryan Jarman, who's been pushed under tower, but we see him rotating over here a couple times.
It just goes to show that if there is a Bastet and a Vulcan on the map alongside of a Ganesha, no objective is safe.
No.
Astral Authority, one more time, are going to have to be really on point as far as their ward control and vision is concerned.
And it's hard to know when it's going to happen. I mean, it was like, what, like 9 minutes? Did they start up? There was no fight. There was no preamble. They just went over and took it. So you really have to be constantly aware of those objectives against this comp in particular, as Fatal Ghost just kind of happen around. And Koiz looking to try and get something started up over here by the Portal Demon. Maybe try and do another invade, as the Speed and Blue are not too far from respawning.
Just placing another pretty aggressive ward there for Strictly Business to keep in mind. If they do want to look for this Portal Demon, they'll at least want to make sure that Chaotic Purpose isn't anywhere near just yet. That Fear No Evil still really strong ability, but speaking of which, Kaeydan and everybody else, no, it's actually Fatal Ghost trying to run away from Transonics in there.
Transonics ultimate once again creating some space for him, able to back up thanks to that blind, and he's out of there, but nothing else was really expended on the side of Strictly Business. They just get that cooldown out of him essentially for free.
And that's kind of a huge win for Strictly Business. They will probably start looking for aggression here pretty soon. Matt Koiz and Brochacho both trying to defend their own wards, but Matt Koiz, he will not move. This is where he now stands, catching up Coviiii, forcing out that Aegis because of that beautiful ultimate by oBoronic.
And the lead from Kaeydan's enough to clean up the kill. The first kill on the Coviiii, the second kill on the Brochacho, courtesy of Fatal Ghost. Now Strictly Business sitting 5-0 on top of Astral Authority, and they look to try and come out and put a little pressure on the Transonics as well. They know he doesn't have that ultimate available, but Chaotic Purpose is here with the Fear No Evil. Fatal Ghost has to beat, but Matt Koiz is here with the Ohm to bring a little peace to the situation.
Chaotic Purpose didn't notice that Kaeydan had no purification beads available to get away from that one. Now oBoronic, though, still on the run from Wolves. Wolves popping out that shell already to try and get away because realize he didn't want to dive a tower with 4 members. Doesn't matter how low they are, that's still 4 people.
He really wanted that kill onto oBoronic. He was kind of seeing red. I'm impressed he was able to pull back up and recognize that it wasn't for him. Instead, he gets on out of there. Wolves able to back up, and everyone from Strictly Business sits alive. But now they're up about 3,000 gold, still steadily climbing up and trying to build up a lead on Astral Authority, who won last game. Strictly Business now looking like they're the ones who are on top.
I still can't believe that Matt Koiz actually just trap carded 2 members of Astral Authority in that lead
like standing on a ward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just because he just looks so dumb, and it's just like, what are you doing? You're gonna have to let this go eventually, and then it's just like, oh, there's a Vulcan ultimate. Oh, we are dead.
Vulcan ultimate, and then it's like, well, maybe we can jump back to our tower. No, there's a Bastet. They followed up right away and cleaned that kill up. Fatal Ghost getting some credit in there as well. So just an excellent play there by Matt Koiz. I'm not sure who got the ward, but I know who won the fight there in the end, so it went the way of Strictly Business.
Matt Koiz protected Strictly Business's ward, and so they were able to maintain the ward vision there. Brochacho finally looking to maybe take it out. No, doesn't have a sentry available.
Well, that's the real victory then. Matt Koiz protected his ward.
That's what supporting is all about. Speaking of which, might have to support Kaeydan. He's just looking to retreat from 3 members of Astral.
Kaeydan does have to jump away from the pressure from Brochacho. Once again, this Chaac, I know that Astral Authority is still a little bit behind, but that pressure Chaac puts out, going with that similar build again with the Traveler Shoes into the Mystical Mail, has been causing some problems here for Strictly Business.
Speaking of which, Jarman just pulled Wolves into his tower line, now actually looking to commit with that lurking in the waters. Wolves, though, just going to dash right out of it. Kaeydan had made the rotation over, but with Wolves having such a long dash go uninterrupted because Jarman didn't have the pluck available, just means he's not really in danger.
And that might be why we saw Wolves go really aggressive onto oBoronic when he rotated over. They just haven't had a chance to be a part of these team fights, and he's been having a good game over there against Jarman in the solo matchup, and just some frustration, and he kind of has to watch, you know, the rest of his team just kind of not losing like they're playing poorly, but just losing the rest of the matchup.
The thing is about both of these solo lane matchups in both Game 1 and now this one, these players, Wolves and Jarman, haven't been looking for gods that can solo each other. They're looking for the gods that they think are going to best help their teams out whenever the fights break out, and that's really all that we've been getting a glimpse of is, yeah, they slap each other around, but who's providing the most assets to their team in the fight?
And right now, more Wolves having superior laning phase just hasn't had any kind of impact on the game so far. Transonics comes up a little bit to try and contest, takes a good bit of poke for his trouble, as does Fatal Ghost. But the Gold Fury, though, does get dropped.
Although Strictly Business probably not willing to really leave the area for this one, knowing just how quickly they can burn that Gold Fury is certainly something that's going to keep Astral Authority on their toes.
Likely trying to establish a little bit more vision. They do still have the Sentry Ward on Kaeydan, so once he realizes where the vision is, they can put that down and try and take control. Fatal Ghost does start pulling it in, and Chaotic Purpose already very low. He drops the Fear No Evil into Matt Koiz. oBoronic's ultimate there, I don't believe it hits anyone, but Coviiii is very low. Brochacho is here to try and help clear a little bit of space. Chaotic Purpose already backed off.
Those cats just chasing everybody out. Brochacho trying to run away, finally wearing off. Transonics, though, getting silenced out by Matt Koiz, who's just absorbing the hell out of these in-hands.
Darmic Pillars coming down. The knock-up on the Brochacho was good enough to set up Fatal Ghost, who does snipe him out with that Bramble Blast. Cleans up one more kill, 6-0, now in favor of Strictly Business, and they've got 4 members here strong just against 2 from Astral Authority.
Jarman coming up a little bit short. Pluck was on target, but not quite enough range. And so with that, Transonics is going to be safe and most likely looking to back to base.
And in the end, Strictly Business don't ever get the Gold Fury, but they do force an engagement. They are able to pick up the kill on the Brochacho. He's sitting 0-3-0 behind Matt Koiz, who's 0-5, having an excellent game over there on the Ganesha. So Astral, strictly business. They don't necessarily have to get the objective. They can keep forcing favorable fights.
When it comes to these two teams, though, scorelines only mean so much. It could turn in the blink of an eye. And
yeah.
I think that was one thing that became really clear in the first game between these two. And now, one more time, strictly business, looking for this gold.
More Wolves might be walking into a trap. Ryan Jarman flexing back right into the root down from Matt Koiz. But Coviii's here to fear away the team, but he isn't able to fear away Ryan Jarman, who's still smacking down. Oboronic's ultimate comes over and does land on the More Wolves, but doesn't get any kills. Chaotic Purpose goes on the Matt Koiz, but it's just too tanky for him to get too much damage out. Transonics trying to rotate into the back, but he can't find anything.
Oh, it's Kaeydan, actually. Kaeydan has got 4 members of Astral Authority with them, jumping out over all of their abilities.
And the cats!
They're just going ham.
He's sending the cats, and they're doing enough to try and finish it out. He does throw out a cat scratch there, but not able to get anything from it. But Fatal Ghost, they're able to trap Transonics in the bad end. Kaeydan doesn't want to give this one up, but the cripple was too good. He couldn't jump back out. More Wolves gets the first kill there for Astral Authority, probably laughing all the way back to base.
He missed the bleed. That was where it all went wrong. He would have at least maybe been able to trade out there his life for Wolves, but instead, that D-Claw just off the mark.
So unable to clean that one up is Kaeydan, but at least keeping those two from having anything to do with the engagement, while Strictly Business do go ahead and clean up that Gold Fury with the rest of their team. So now up 5,000 gold. Strictly Business have been steadily climbing. It has not been a big slant down because Astral Authority haven't given anything up for free. And actually the Portal Demon, though, that does get taken one more time. Strictly Business are playing the objective game so well here.
Just one after the other. Speaking of which, Fatal Ghost now trying to run away. Can't run away from that tower dive, though. Chaotic Purpose going pretty deep. And no one from Strictly Business really looking to try and follow up after. Astral Authority might be looking to siege this T1 tower line. No, it's going to be Ryan Jarman in thick of it all.
Fear No Evil comes after the team fight, setting up El Bro Chacho to finish off that kill. But Kaeydan has respawned and came back in to clean up Chaotic Purpose. Egg is keeping him alive for now through a whole lot of damage, but it doesn't give him a chance to get his jump back online. Coviiii cleans up that kill, and Astral Authority pick up 3 quick kills.
That was a great Vulcan ultimate by Oboronic. The Earthshaker really coming through clutch, but unfortunately for Strictly Business, it just wasn't enough damage to find a kill for anyone.
Now Astral Authority are the ones trying to force down this Tier 1 tower and find a way to recoup some of the losses from the Portal Demon and from giving up the Gold Fury. Matt Koiz is forcing him back, actually locking Brochacho down underneath the Tier 1 tower. Ultimate comes out for Transonics and does get the stun off, but it's not enough for him to take the tower.
Matt Koiz and Oboronic really don't want to let their T1 go. Astral Authority, the only member that fell down in that entire engagement was Chaotic Purpose, but they still weren't able to siege the T1 tower.
Just too strong a defense coming out there from Oboronic and Matt Koiz. We even saw Wolves pushing in on that Tier 1 tower on the right. I think Ryan Jarman might just make it in time to clear out those minions and keep his Tier 1 tower alive, so he'll at least keep that structure going and have something to fall back to.
That looked like a pretty juicy wave for Fatal Ghost in the dual lane. If I'm a hunter, that's probably one of the best things to ever see is like 10 archers stacked up, ready to be farmed.
I love coming back and getting all that golden experience at once, being able to go back and try and get some more items finished off. Brochacho dropping down his ult on Oboronic and Matt Koiz actually get some good pokes, so they'll have to return to base, but there's not much up on the map right now for them to try and get.
Considering that Strictly Business already secured the Gold Fury and Portal Demon, it's kind of just a waiting game now. Astral Authority trying to find whatever farm is available still. And again, this Oracle Vision has just been so back and forth between these two teams. One way it's Strictly, next time it's Astral. It's just a toss-up who's going to secure it.
And Strictly Business do have the early game lead, but we talked about Transonics on this Xbalanque already. We know what he can do in the late game if you let him reach that stage. He has the Transcendence, finish and fully stack. The Aussie to give him some of that light steal he's missing without Devour's gauntlets. So he's getting closer and closer to being able to hang with Fatal Ghost, but he is down 3 levels.
And check out that aggressive pathing by Ryan Jarman, venturing so deep into Astral Authority's jungle, just seeing what he can get away with. Speaking of which, Kaeydan looking to steal that red buff, and I do believe he was successful.
That's what makes Bastet so annoying, able to go way out of position, and then, oh, actually, I'm not out of position. I can just jump over walls, run away with that extra movement speed, as Koiz actually silences out more wolves there in the middle of one of his channels, but it's Ryan Jarman who can be called out, fear no evil, forcing him back into the rest of Astral Authority. Koviiii getting credit for that with those Taiko drums pounding in over Ryan Jarman.
But that was 4 ultimates to clean up the solo laner from Strictly Business. Without Ryan Jarman available, that Sobek teamfight potential is going to be missing, but Strictly Business still have all their ults.
Dharmic Pillars come down, more wolves, goes way into the back to force back Fatal Ghost and Oboronic, but it's Kaeydan who's able to come in on the back. Transonics is low, Chaotic Purpose is also very low. Oboronic, though, under continuous pressure from more wolves, who dashes in and is able to get the swipes and still get out from under the tier 2 tower, but Fatal Ghost does clean up Koviiii.
Oboronic did everything in his power to try and buy himself enough time, but with those thorns lasting for so long, just no way for him to prevent himself from dying to wolves.
Kaeydan doesn't want to give it up. Look at him way back by back harp. He's still looking to see if there's any low health members, perhaps lazy backing, that he can clean up. Fatal Ghost, though, recognizing that he can get this tier 1 tower in mid, he does clean it up and get away from the damage, so good on you, Fatal Ghost.
Not really looking to waste any time with Brochacho, although he could probably just destroy Brochacho right now in a pure 1v1. I don't think he's going to be provided that benefit, since Chacho is just making sure to keep his spacing well clear of those carries.
Kent Size, an executioner, shredding those protections and doing percentage HP. Don't want to mess with that right now, does Brochacho, so wisely backing off. Kaeydan showing his face over here on those oracles, so they end up getting split, and Brochacho and Chaotic Purpose are just going to back off. But again, it's still Strictly Business who have some control. It's not a whole lot, though. It's about 4,000 gold. So Astral Authority can certainly still fight into this.
And this is kind of what Astral Authority's been looking for, more particularly Wolves. I love how much Wolves is committing into pinning down either Oboronic or Fatal Ghost. In that last engagement, Strictly Business was basically forced into a decision. Do we defend our tower and at least 2 or 3 members on our team, or do we sacrifice Oboronic and look for the bigger picture? They chose the latter, and Oboronic has been such a key element for a lot of the success for the zoning that Strictly Business has found.
And I think that's a big part of why things are swinging back in Astral Authority's favor. Not that they have control, but they've sort of stabilized things back out for the moment. Because Wolves able to be a bigger part of these team fights, I think that when it was just the 4v4, it was favoring Strictly Business. But now that Wolves is coming in, as you said, zoning out Oboronic and Fatal Ghost, they're having a really hard time. But the Gold Fury, once again, getting snuck away. Chaotic Purpose even drops his Fear No Evil, so that won't be available. Koviiii now also in some trouble, and Ryan Jarman goes up into his ultimate. Brochacho does at least silence out Kaeydan, and Oboronics ultimate is off the mark, but Ryan Jarman's not ready to give up on this one yet.
Oboronic just looking for the max range ultimate. Fatal Ghost actually finding Transonics in it all, as well as Koviiii now backing up, trying to help out the rest of his team. More Wolves gonna pop those thorns one more time. It's all on top of Brochacho again.
Fatal Ghost was shredding Brochacho just now. Wolves came up, though, with those thorns and shut down the DPS. He had to Aegis instead of putting out any more damage. Wolves is the one running through this team fight for Astral Authority the way that Fatal Ghost was for Strictly Business. 3 members have fallen on Strictly Business's side, and Astral Authority are looking to try and make it a few more as Brochacho gets on out.
Double lifesteal doesn't matter. Wolves does not care about your sustain. He is just all over the place. One angry bear just charging at Strictly Business the entire time.
I don't know a whole lot of friendly bears, Taco.
Are you trolling me right now? Winnie the Pooh. It's like the nicest bear ever.
Is Winnie the Pooh a bear?
Yes, he eats honey.
All right, a point for Taco then. So more Wolves, more along the line of an angry bear than a Winnie the Pooh bear, and that's coming up big for him as the Portal Demon goes the way of Astral Authority. Ryan Jarman now trapped in between 3 members, but he's lurking in the waters, trying to look to clean up Chaotic Purpose, and he does at least get away that kill. Koiz and Kaeydan are here, but they're not here soon enough. Brochacho cleans up Jarman.
Astral Authority got the croc on lock. It's going to be Astral's Portal Demon still, so Strictly Business need to be careful about trying to defend that Fire Giant in case anybody from Astral's really feeling themselves, aka Transonics.
Taco, I have another question. Is Winnie the Pooh a boy or a girl?
What? He's a bear.
Yeah, there are boy and girl bears.
Don't you
Taco.
dare assume his gender.
I don't know his gender. I'm asking.
He's just a bear, and he's full of love and smiles, and that's all that you really need in life sometimes.
That's all you need to know about Winnie the Pooh. He loves life, and More Wolves is loving this game right now. He's 2-0-7. He's been having a big impact here for Astral Authority. Like I said earlier, I think he's the reason why things have sort of swung back in their favor. They're still down about 3,000 to 4,000 gold, but I've been saying that for 10 minutes. Strictly Business have not been able to extend this lead back out thanks to the impact that he's having when he rotates in. In fact, Astral Authority got the most recent objective with that Portal Demon.
I think Strictly Business have accomplished their goal, though, of keeping Transonics pinned down.
Yeah.
He's not having anywhere near the same leisure as he did last game, able to run around the map a little bit more freely. And speaking of which, Kaeydan actually trying to catch him off guard. Misses the third ability, catches him with the second. Now Transonics is all in the battle for his life. Drops the ultimate, but it doesn't matter. Kaeydan's cats are just way too strong.
It's real hard to win a 1v1 against Bastet, especially when she catches you out of position like that. Those cats locking him down, cleaning up that kill. Wolves is rotating over to try and take down Kaeydan. So this is exactly what I was thinking. Strictly Business recognizing they're starting to move around over by that Fire Giant. Fatal Ghost has already started to DPS, and Koiz is trying to keep Chaotic Purpose away from it because Wolves isn't here to be a part of the fight, Taco.
But it's half health already for that Fire Giant. Sprint has been popped for Astral Authority, however. It's Fatal Ghost trying to get away. Great ultimate by Chaotic Purpose, but now he's getting tossed back into all these members of Strictly Business.
Kaeydan jumps in and cleans up Chaotic Purpose. Jarman also gets Coviiii. Strictly Business spread the map out perfectly in this last engagement. Now Wolves is trying to rotate in with those thorns to get a little bit more back from Fatal Ghost, but the Aegis is good to keep him alive. Oboronic, Earthshaker cleans up Wolves. 4 members fall on the side of Astral Authority, and Strictly Business, they only give up, I don't think they give up anyone, do they?
Jarman was thinking about it. He was about to pull Brochacho, but decided against it, and now it's just going to be Oboronic and Koiiz starting up this Fire Giant. Fatal Ghost coming back in now that he's healed up. Double lifesteal really putting in the work right now. They're all just going to collapse straight onto Brochacho. Don't even want to risk him having an opportunity to come back into this. And Transonics, being the lone survivor of Astral Authority, isn't going to go anywhere near that Fire Giant pit.
And it 100% goes back to Kaeydan finding Transonics all alone over there in that duo lane pushed up. Not only does he get the kill clean, but Wolves rotates all the way over to the duo lane to try and catch Bastet out. Bastet not only gets away, but then his team immediately starts up the Fire Giant with the 4v3 they have without the most impactful member of Astral Authority there to help.
I think Wolves was also kind of pinched there and sort of forced to rotate over that side of the map to prevent Kaeydan from split pushing. Kaeydan could have very easily pushed all the way to a T2 tower. Bastet, probably one of the more notorious gods when it comes to split pushing, even though her cats no longer proc those backdoor protections and prevent it from happening, basically. But she's still very easy when it comes to securing objectives and shredding them away.
And we see that with this Gold Fury already taken down. Now Strictly Business have the Fire Giant around their waist. They cleaned up the Gold Fury, and there's still plenty of tier 2 towers on the map for them to clean up. And we talk about this all the time, but this is where they start to really extend out the lead. It doesn't so much come from just those objectives. It comes from when you take down these towers and you get all that global gold going your way. But it looks like Astral Authority want to fight on this tier 2.
And just look at that auto attack speed from Fatal Ghost
It's
now. That is just all over the place, especially with that Shogun from Koiiz. He's got to be topping it right now.
Yeah, those animations are looking crazy as he cleans down that, hitting like 163 for each strike. Wolves is trying to slow him back, but with only 3 members here, they can't, because over here on the right side, Chaotic Purpose and Transonics are going for the split push, and they do take a tier 2 in response.
And it's going to be Kaeydan actually sent back to try and defend, make sure those two aren't looking to take away the Phoenix, but only 2 tier 2s remaining for Astral Authority, and Strictly Business is going to make quick work of them.
Koiiz is taking up the tower as Kaeydan does keep Transonics busy, who's trying to rotate in the back of the fight. Chaotic Purpose is also here. Ultimate does come out from Transonics, and lets Chaotic Purpose gets lit up by Fatal Ghost. The ultimate comes up Oboronic on top of the team fight, but not getting too much damage from it. Kaeydan is here though, and he's landing in to try and put in damage. Brochacho is very low, and he ends up falling to Fatal Ghost. Kaeydan cleans up Transonics. Wolves though does take down Fatal Ghost. That's a lot of DPS that Strictly Business are going to be missing without him. Oboronic trying to escape, and once again Wolves having a big impact in the fight.
Wolves single-handedly saving that team fight for Astral Authority, eliminating both of the carries from Strictly Business. So the push is going to be a little bit harder for Strictly Business to achieve. Chaotic Purpose, though, he's not quite out of dodge just yet. Kaeydan thinking about chasing him down, thinking better of it, though, because he recognizes that speed buff around Chaotic Purpose's waist.
They settle for the Portal Demon here, but one more time, Wolves is playing out of his mind on this Artio, still very strong, able to take out the two most important damage dealers for Strictly Business. oBoronic and Fatal Ghost end up going back to base. They do get that Portal Demon, so they'll be able to make it back up to the middle part of the map pretty easily, but they also lose another minute or so off that Fire Giant buff too. So Wolves doing a really good job slowing down the push from Strictly Business.
The worst part about all of this, though, is you've got to feel for Fatal Ghost. He's trying to position himself working around the backside of Astral, but every single time, Wolves, it doesn't care. He's got the Nemean Lion already. He pops his Thorns, and he just stands in front of Fatal Ghost. He doesn't even care if he's getting attacked or not. That's what he wants, is to just block Fatal Ghost and absorb those autos, because they are destroying Fatal Ghost.
If they're going to keep sending Wolves out to contest Kaeydan, maybe Kaedan's just got to keep stretching the map, because if Wolves is there in the fight, Strictly Business are having a really hard time winning it. They do have all 5 members here grouped up to both teams, actually. Transonics is over on the left side trying to get a little bit of farm to himself, so it is a 5v4, which they'll be able to see now that he's hitting those minions. He'll show up on the mini-map, and they'll be aware of it. That might be why Strictly Business are pushing so far forward.
That's exactly why Strictly Business feel really confident now, pushing up into Astral Authority's side of the jungle. Only one tier 2 remains, and with Fatal Ghost back in action, Koiz more than happy to take this one up, but here comes the engagement by Chaotic Purpose.
Chaotic Purpose blinks in for the Fear No Evil, but Fatal Ghost's beads gets him out of it. Koiz takes the Coviiii ultimate to the face, but it doesn't hurt too bad. But it's oBoronic who's being chased down by more wolves. He's spamming that VHH in chat. Where y'all at? Help me out. And they do trap down the bear in the Bramble Blast, but that dash is so strong for getting him around. Now Chacho hits his ultimate with 3 members, but Wolves does fall. oBoronic blows up Coviiii in the back.
That Earthshaker just deleted Coviii's life. Chacho taken out shortly after. Fatal Ghost all over the place right now. And oBoronic, what looked like it was going to be another toast mid laner because of Wolves, able to come back.
And they even have to send Kaeydan back to stop the split push from Transonics, who does get the tier 2 tower in left, but they win the fight so handily without when they don't have to fight with Transonics in there, that now they can pressure this mid lane Phoenix. So overall, the trade does not quite end up being worth it if they're able to take this mid Phoenix.
They're actually not going to be able to try and contest. This Phoenix is already gone. Fatal Ghost making quick work of it alongside of Koiz. And I mean, the structured damage alone says enough. Nearly 11k. Now he's going to reach it with this Phoenix Siege right here. And now it's going to be the shell expended. The Fear No Evil has come out, but it's actually Astral Authority still on the run.
Koiz was silenced down and ends up getting killed by Koiz. Credit goes to Kaeydan courtesy of that Ganesha passive. Phoenix falls on the left side as well. Strictly Business now looking firmly in control of game 2. And Taco, we very well might have a split on our hands between the top 2 teams in our NA Smite console league.
That's certainly what it's shaping out to be. And what looks can be deceiving.
Yeah.
It's not over just yet, as abysmal as things might look for Astral Authority right now. This is a very experienced and veteran team. A lot of knowledge in their favor, and already this is one of those calls that you kind of expect to see from such an experienced team. Immediate engagement onto the Fire Giant. They're looking to catch out Fatal Ghost now.
Fatal Ghost had to face check it there, and that was enough to force Astral Authority to back off. They commit both Transonics and Chacho's ultimates. Only Fatal Ghost comes out in response, and I believe they also even used a girdle to try and help burn down the Fire Giant, so it's a big win for Strictly Business stopping that push.
That would have been in favor of Astral Authority, but just not quite fast enough with that rotation over to the Fire Giant. They have a lot of DPS for it, it just didn't come through just then, and now instead 5 members of Strictly Business with that Fire Giant buff to their name.
And now they're grouping up in the right-hand side, the only lane with any structures remaining for Astral Authority. And Fatal Ghost, as you said, he's swinging hard, takes down the tier 2 tower real quick. Phoenix is the last bastion of defense for Astral Authority. Coviii's going to have to come up big. Chaotic Purpose going to have to come up big with the Fear No Evil if they want to turn this one around.
And that's what oBoronic is trying to do, help his team close it out. So much already. And check out Kaeydan.
Yeah, he's just lurking around the side, and Transonics is the one that's coming to check it, and I don't know if that's the best call. Kaeydan has definitely the potential to blow it up. The ward, though, does now reveal where Kaeydan is on the map, but he's coming in to try and force Transonics back while the rest of his team takes that Phoenix on the right. Fire minions coming in through the middle, fire minions coming in through the left, Dharmic pillars coming out from Matt Koiz to try and create some space, but it's Wolves once again going onto the back line with the Thorns. The Fear No Evil comes out as well.
Seen this one before, though. Oboronic with a huge Earthshaker is going to be good. Taking out Chaotic Purpose. No chance to survive. Fatal Ghost dropping the Wild Hunt. Catches off Coviiii. Coviiii now trying to get on the retreat, but you got Kaeydan on the backside just destroying.
Kaeydan's just chilling in the Titan room. More Wolves has to run away. There's 3 waves worth of Fire Minions now pumping into the tower. Not in that right-hand side. The Phoenix hasn't fallen just yet, but either way, strictly business. They split with Astral Authority. The top 2 looking closer than ever.
And they managed to tie it out for this one. Both teams going to be receiving 1 point each, and well earned on both sides.
So they don't remain undefeated, but they remain up at the top of the standings, tied for first place. And Taco, that's a good set. I don't know if there's some people out there maybe that don't think the console league are bringing it, but they're bringing it. They look good this split.
That was a pretty intense set. I think that's probably been one of my favorite box sets that I've gotten a chance to see.
And it wasn't just that they were evenly matched. We weren't seeing anyone making too many big mistakes. There was maybe a couple Gold Furies that got stolen away, but I think that was just better shot calling than maybe someone else not playing very well.
That seemed to be all the difference between these two teams. In both games, you could really just tell there were just brief moments of outplay, and that's all it takes. One simple mistake can really lead to a crumble, and neither side, though, was ever seeming to waver. They both kept trying to bounce back into it, no matter what things seemed to look like.
And in the first game, we had our eyes specifically on Transonics, but in the second game, it feels like it flipped exactly the other way, and it was Fatal Ghost who was coming up big for him. We were talking at the end about how high his attack speed was. He was chunking through towers, through team fights. There was that time he almost deleted Brochacha when they tried to 1v1.
Also, that attention to detail. Fatal Ghost was constantly shifting through those stance forms, using every single one when they needed to be used. He had the power boost from the summer stance. He had the lifesteal stance at spring, and then the winter. I think that was the most important one because those slows were just destroying Coviiii and Brochacha.
The winter stance is a little bit underrated. I think that slow is pretty nuts, and it's hard to deal with when he's able to get that just free in his kit. Fatal Ghost, once again, shredding objectives, but he was doing so well in that game. But these two teams both, again, I know that they were kind of swingy both games, but I don't think either one of them ever looked bad. It just looked like 2 really top-end teams.
It's going to be something to keep an eye out for in North America to see how these other teams are going to shape up, because that wasn't the only set that we have remaining. I mean, there's still a lot more NA action to go on today for console.
That's right. We actually have 1 more game left. So if you were stuck glued to your monitors like I would have been, then this is your chance to use the bathroom, go get some chips, because we got 1 more game coming up for you.
I see it in your eyes. I follow you so damn foolishly. You'd be the sweetest goodbye. Give me a hot trip exclusively. Like this song in my head. In my head. In my head. In my head. In my head.